Sportscast. We're taking the lead, analyzing the game from the rink to the field. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 107 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing today?
Why do you always have to talk like Howard Cosell? Every time. That's not the way you normally talk. You talk like a normal person most of the time, except when you introduce me.
Yeah, because I go to introduce you, and if you're not watching, he's looking down at this phone, getting his tweets ready, so I'm like teeing you up. Most people would put their phone down or like look up to be like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Well, I know you're going to throw it to me, and I always have a whimsical thing to say.
No, you don't always have a whimsical thing to say. Most of the time, you just make fun of me.
That's whimsical. How do you like
I don't
this?
think that's...
How do you like this view?
I mean, it'd be better if there wasn't like a pillar in the way.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool if that was all
just one window? Yeah.
But see, that's what I have on this side.
Fair.
Like from... Well,
you're looking out into the forever.
Well, I'm kind of at the corner of the room, and this whole wall is window.
Yeah.
So one day maybe I'll switch things around and we'll turn it so that whole wall you'll be able to see the Calgary Tower.
Will we be able to see the Calgary Tower?
Yeah.
Or will they put another building up in the way so no one can see the Calgary Tower?
No, we can see it. It's red tonight. Is there a Flames game tonight?
No, they played last night. Unless they're on a back-to-back, which I don't think they are.
Oh, no. It's doing its thing. It changes color.
Yeah, because if it's a Flames game, it's red and yellow. It looks like a flame going around it.
Yes. Now it changes all kinds of different colors all the time. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
You have a Canucks game tonight starting in 28 or so minutes. And we'll be taking you live up until the start of that game right here, getting you ready for it.
But first,
we have to talk about it. We talked about it last week with Blake Price. We were prepared, we were nervous, we were anxious, and the game delivered on every single one of those emotions by giving us everything you could possibly ask for in the Four Nations Cup. And Canada wins in overtime with what I'm going to call a storybook goal for Connor McDavid in a game that he limped through to get that goal.
Literally couldn't have written a better script.
Correct.
If Hollywood got together and tried to write a script for a hockey movie, they couldn't have come up with this. Everything fell into place perfectly for this series. And it was all about the rivalry or the tension, I'll call it, between Canada and the US right now. If that's not there, this isn't as big as it was.
I don't think the victory means as much, and I don't think it gets the same viewers it does. I think for diehard hockey fans, I think it still does very well and a lot better than what I would have expected. I
don't think even the players would have been into it as much if not for that tension between Canada and the US right now. I have watched hockey since I don't remember not watching hockey. It's just been a thing. I watch hockey. And holy mother of poo-poo head, I have never experienced anything like that gold medal game or cup game, the final, whatever you want to call it. It was insanity from start to finish. The speed of the players. I was very lucky. I was up, as you know, I was up in Red Deer all weekend, and my boss is a huge hockey fan, so we snuck away to watch the game with a couple of American reps that were up there with us. So there was that instant rivalry between the Canadian side and the American side of the table. We made them sit on the bad side of the table so they couldn't see the TV properly. Well, it was punishment for them having Trump. That's all we said.
You know what? That's fair enough.
But the tension from the drop of the puck to when that goal was scored by McDavid, you could cut it with a knife. We're at a bar and it was full, and you could literally cut it with a knife.
It was probably the most intense game I've ever experienced, including Game 7 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Final.
You know, it was funny because somebody asked me that. Were you more tense during the 2011 Cup the Game 7? I said, and I was like, no, because Canucks didn't show up for that game, and it was a shitty game, and we lost.
Not just that, but like we even talked about it afterwards. Is we felt it going into after Game 6. We felt it going into after Game 6. That's like this team just doesn't have the juice.
Yeah.
We needed to win in Game 6, and we didn't, and we knew it was going to happen.
I made a post that got a lot of attention and a lot of people messaging me privately because, as some people might know, I was at one time really political. I know, shocking. And I've really stepped away from posting anything political. So I had a lot of people messaging me because when I posted, I literally said, Canada as a nation needs this win. And we did. The nation needed this win. And we got it.
And I want to talk about it. That was probably the worst game I have ever seen Connor McDavid play. I don't watch the Edmonton Oilers all that often unless they're playing the Canucks or in the playoffs. I'll watch more playoffs games than I normally do.
Yeah.
But McDavid was invisible. Until he wasn't and scored the biggest goal that he could have ever scored.
And will ever score. Like even a Stanley Cup overtime winning goal won't be as big as that for the nation.
Well, so I'd like to disagree with that. 32 years since a Canadian team has lifted the Stanley Cup.
And were you cheering for Edmonton against Florida last year?
No, but I was in the minority. I was in a very, very small minority.
Me too. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't give a fuck. To be blunt, I couldn't give a fuck.
They kicked us out of the playoffs. I don't want to deal with them. No.
Yeah, fuck you. Go away.
I think it wouldn't be everyone in the nation, but hockey fans in the nation would relieve a sigh, and we would be the most like Canadian fans would be obnoxious about it because we finally won a cup after 32 years.
If this whole tension between the U.S. and Canada continues up through until May and June, whenever the cup gets played, then I think you will see more of that Canadian pride if there's a Canadian team, the Canucks, in the game. But as of 7:38 Mountain Time, 6:38 Pacific Time on February 26th, I have never seen a hockey game like that. I've never experienced the tension. I've never experienced the literal relief. That's the only word I could come up with when McDavid scored.
So I got home at 5:30 our time, so 4:30, half hour to puck drop.
Yeah.
And I turned on the pregame, and I literally couldn't sit.
No.
I was that anxious and nervous, which is not abnormal for someone like me, and I'm a Rashford fan. Then we scored, and it was like, okay. And then like throughout the game, I was up and moving around a little bit. And then overtime started.
Oh.
The intermission for overtime, literally the intermission for overtime, I was pacing, moving constantly. And then the puck dropped, and I sat on the couch, and I couldn't sit on the couch. I literally was sitting on the floor, cross-legged with my hands on the ground because I needed to ground myself. I was that nervous, like there was that much anxious energy. I was like, I need to be away from everything, just zone out.
I blame his mother, folks. I don't know where he gets it from. Mind you, my heart rate didn't drop below 105 the whole overtime period, so or the third.
Yeah. So We go from that excitement,
Oh,
that intensity of games, because it was higher than playoff intensity because the players were all that good.
yes.
And then we get back to regular NHL hockey, and oh boy, is it hard to watch. And is it?
Especially if you're a Canucks fan.
And I really want to know: is it hard to watch because we're Canucks fans, or is it hard to watch because the intensity is 2 steps lower than what we were just watching?
It was slower, and there was no intensity. Yeah. So a little bit of both, right? It just didn't seem. I watched the Canuck game and I yawned. It was like I came home Sunday. No, I didn't watch the Saturday game. I listened to it.
I was out for most of the Saturday game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got home for the second period of the Sunday game, and holy yawner.
Well, it also doesn't help when you have what, 13 shots in a game. Sorry,
15. They had
15.
1-5.
Whew.
Maybe a few more after I posted that to you, but in a whole game, that's usually a period.
It's brutal. It's hard to watch. This team without Quinn Hughes doesn't look like themselves. Hopefully, no. You might see me keep looking over. I'm literally refreshing, trying to get lineups to see if the Canucks are.
They said it was going to be a game time decision.
4 minutes ago from one Thomas Drance at The Athletic. It doesn't look like Quinn Hughes is on track to return tonight. Canucks captain didn't take line rushes.
We both sigh.
What do you do with this team now? You've got, 6 days until the trade deadline?
You've got to make a trade. I mean, who do you trade? I mean, obviously, these people saying trade EP40.
Sorry.
I don't think you trade EP40. You're going to get nothing for him. You're going to give up to trade him.
So
because at this point,
we have 10 days until the trade deadline, so next Friday.
Yeah.
Is your trade simply at this point the ability to have space to make a run at some free agents? Because if you're going to trade him, you have to trade him now, or at the draft,
or before July.
1st.
I don't think you trade him.
Anyone who's listening to this show knows you don't trade elite players. There has never been a player that has had this type of fall off for this long.
Maybe you take the C off him or the A.
I don't think that does anything.
Because let me finish my thought process here, because it just came to me. Because did you hear him at the press conference where he says dealing with the media is the worst?
That wasn't the press conference. That was Rick Tocchet made a comment talked with the media about how he wasn't moving his feet. He just wants him to shoot the puck and stop thinking, basically. And then Ian McIntyre from Sportsnet went to him privately and said, "Do you have any comments on this?" And that was his only comment about it. It's too exhausting. It's exhausting or tiring dealing with the media.
And so maybe you take the A away from him and call it a punishment, call it whatever you want. And maybe bench him.
To me, at this point, if you're not going to trade him, you have to look at the season as a wash. In my opinion, it would be better for us to not make the playoffs this year at this point, which seems stupid and ridiculous. And I said it 4 weeks ago, and you made fun of me. And I will find that clip when we don't make the playoffs. And you get Demko healthy. You get Hughes 100% healthy. You let Pedersen go back to Europe and just reset whatever that needs to be. You sell Brock. You sell Suter for whatever you can get for them. And you come back and reset next year. Because this season, even if we limp into the playoffs, Okay, cool. So we go up against Winnipeg.
Yeah. Or even Edmonton.
Ooh,
Like either
great.
one.
Fantastic. We're going to get swept in 4 games the way this team has been playing. And not
We wouldn't go against Winnipeg because Winnipeg's not.
they're in the West. If we're wild card 2, Winnipeg's first in the West. We'll play the top of the West, not just first in the Pacific. Yeah.
Right.
So
right. I don't know what to say. I mean,
it's
obviously if we had the answers, we'd be very rich and sitting on a boat somewhere doing this. We're not. And I don't have, and unfortunately, I don't have the answers. Like, is he hurt?
Who? Petey?
Someone said he had a brace on his knee.
Yeah, someone said that. But then you have Rick Dollywall, who talks to his agents and has inside sources saying he's not injured. Like, so if he's injured, why is he playing? Why did he go to 4 Nations?
Yes.
All of this rhetoric around Patrick Alvine and Rick Tocchet and Jim Rutherford are making him play. He has literally, if you look at his agent, who his agent is, Pat Brassard, the most powerful and influential agent in the league. Look at his client list. It's ridiculous. It's everyone who's making over $10 million. You think he doesn't have pull that can go in there and say, no. Because
he's not playing.
You know who convinced Quinn Hughes to not go play in the 4 Nations? Pat Brassard.
His agent.
Came in and said, no. Look, I get you want to go do it, but there's always next year. You have the Olympics next year.
Exactly. Sorry, we have a new viewer. I don't remember Zach Nelson. Do you remember Zach Nelson?
Zach has joined the show before.
Has he? Zach, we love when you guys say hi.
I met Zach in person at the Grey Cup. He officiates with me. With CFO.
Oh, yes.
Welcome, Zach. Hope you're having a good night.
Yes. Thanks, buddy. I love this when people reach out. If you're listening, reach out. Tell us where you're listening from. We'll put you up. Go ahead. My voice just cracked.
That was a pretty bad crack, too.
I was like, yeah.
So I touched on it about if you don't think this is your season, you just kind of got to blow it up. Brock Boeser, in your opinion, your best guess, do you sign him or do you trade him? Because those are your 2 options.
Trade him.
Trade him. What would you be happy with as a fan? What would you be happy with a return for Brock Boeser? Just a template sort of idea.
I mean, as an irrational fan or as someone who will be reasonable?
Make it reasonable.
Okay. Top 6 forward? Maybe? And a pick? No, you don't think so?
He's a UFA at the end of the season.
Yeah, but if he can go to a team that he wants.
Oh, but what a team that he wants to go to and wants him, are they willing to pay that premium to get him for their playoff run?
Yeah. What is going on with my voice? Holy, yeah.
I just can't see. I mean,
we would. We did it. Zadorov.
We didn't pay a premium for Zadorov. We traded him for like a 3rd round pick.
Well, we're not going to give Brock Boeser away for a 3rd round pick.
I think you'd be happy with a 2nd. I think you'd be happy with a prospect and a 2nd. And I want you to be prepared to be disappointed with a Brock Boeser trade.
Why are you going to always disappoint me, Jake?
Because we're on a team where he's struggled to score. He's consistent. His foot speed is not what the league wants. He's always been that way. He's never been the fastest player out there. He's always made do.
But he's always been one of my favorites.
I hope he doesn't get traded. But if you're saying, if you're looking at it and saying, okay, you need to do something, and you're not, EP40's off the table, in my books. EP40's off the table. You're going to go, and Brock is the next bet.
Do you hear that noise?
No, it is not coming through your microphone.
There was like music playing somewhere.
There
was really
nothing
weird.
coming through the microphone.
Wow.
He's lost it, guys. He's lost it. Not just his voice, but also mentally.
I think it was the
I don't
toucan.
think it was the toucan. I think you've just lost.
I think it was the toucan.
Um,
And I got you to say toucan live on the air. Ha!
I have mentioned the fact that you call the toucan a mascot, but he is a false mascot. He is a false
He is not a
He's
false
a
mascot.
false prophet, and I refuse to acknowledge him as the official mascot of the show. You can't just be making executive decisions.
I am part of the show. I can make an executive decision if I damn
Is your
well
title
feel like
executive
it.
producer? No, it is co-host.
Who's the executive? Do we have an executive?
We're flying by the seat of our pants.
I am now the executive
You can't
producer.
just give yourself a title. What do you think this is? The American government?
Yes. Should I salute?
No.
Okay, back to Brock Besser. Holy crap, you go down rabbit holes.
Look, we're a struggling team. He hasn't been having a great season. He's only broken that the 30-goal marker once.
So if we sign him, what do we sign him? Like, what do you think would be a good sign?
I haven't even looked into it, to be completely honest. He's making 6.5 now. I would assume he's going to be making 7.5 to 8.5. I think the term is really what's going to be, from my understanding and my readings and listenings, the term is going to be the big issue. Is he wants 6-7 years, and the Canucks are reluctant to give that up on someone who's already showing to be a little bit slower than other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. This season has gone the complete opposite of last season.
Oh, 100%.
Because we went into last season being like, we'll be happy if we limp into the playoffs. And at this time last year, we're like, we've locked up first. We're back, baby. We're locking up first. We're gonna make a run. This year we came into the season being like, all right, goal, lock up first place in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Now we're limping into the playoffs if we make the playoffs, because right now we're not in a playoff position. Calgary has that last wildcard spot.
Yep, and we've played the same amount of games, and they're 1 point ahead of us.
So even if we...
And we really don't have a lot of games left.
Even if we win tonight, by point percentage, they'll still be in a wildcard spot.
Yes, because we'll have a game in hand.
So
yes. Well, I mean, are we out of it? No. Do I think we'll make the playoffs? 100%. I still think Calgary is playing above their belt. And I think we'll limp in. 1982, we limped in. 82? 94. One of the two. We limped in.
Which 82, the year we got wrecked by the Islanders, is the year.
Yes, 82. And we ran the table. Now, a lot of things had to happen for us to do that. A lot of better teams, a lot of the top teams, quotation marks, got knocked off. But we still ran it.
I don't get me wrong. It could still happen. I mean...
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's say you get rid of Brock. You get a pick and a prospect back. Whether it's a first or a second pick. You flip that for X player that has an impact, that isn't having that chance. Demko gets back and is healthy and is playing up to Vezina level. Him and Lankinen, I mean, that's a killer duo.
Oh, it is.
Right? The big thing is you need EP40 to get out of whatever it is.
Well, I mean, does one player make a team?
No, but you need your best players to be playing their best.
I mean, he's being paid...
$11.6 million.
What is it, 11?
$11.6 million.
I was going to say 11 to some odd $1 million. And he's playing right now, I say he's playing like a $5 million player.
He's playing like a player who's barely in the NHL.
It's not pretty to watch.
It is exhausting to watch.
The whole reverse hit thing that he does.
Yeah.
I want to reach through the screen and I want to bitch slap him.
whenever he does that, and I mean this in the nicest way, he's trying to get himself in the game. It doesn't work.
He is. It doesn't work.
Get rid of it. I don't know what it is. Get rid of it. Shoot the fucking puck. I don't care. I don't care if he gets the puck on his stick and he misses the net 100 times in a night. But if he's shooting 100 times, with his shooting percentage based on his career, eventually that puck's just going to sneak in.
Start going in. At sports at the NHL level, how much time we got? Oh, yeah, we got time. Sports at an NHL level, they're all great players. They wouldn't get to the NHL. They're in that top 1%, less than 1% that make the NHL. So they're all great players.
And to be fair, so far...
Let me finish my thought because it'll go away if I don't. Do you think somebody, JT Miller, got into his head and it has affected to him? Now, we both read speculation of what happened. It wasn't pretty. It was downright disgusting.
And if it's true and the actual leave was a suspension, that's fucking disgusting.
Could it have affected, or could it still be affecting him now?
This started 13 months ago. This started at the beginning
when he hurt his knee.
Then why was he playing? We had secured.
It's one of those injuries you need to play through.
It's not, though. It's clearly not. If it's an injury that he can play through it. 6 months, 12 months, it should be better 13 months later.
There's something, I don't know, maybe a sports psychologist needs to step in. There's such a thing, and it has helped many players.
I can say this for a fact. When I was writing articles for the website I used to write for, there's sports psychologists across Canada that you can literally reach out to with an email. And they get back to you very quickly because they like talking about their stuff. If it's simple as that, and if the Canucks don't already have a sports psychologist, first off, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Secondly, if it's simple as mental and it's been this long.
Simple as mental.
Let's rephrase that. If it's been a problem that has been going on for 13 months and it is purely just a mental issue, come out and say that.
Well, and I guess it comes to the point now where say something.
My knee is injured. I'm having issues. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm seeing a sports psychologist. I'm going to physiotherapy. I'm icing my knee and putting a brace on it. Tell us anything. All we want is communication. And it's downright disrespectful of someone who has an A on his chest and wears the logo of the team we cheer for to say talking to the media is exhausting. Good. You know what else is exhausting? Those fans in attendance who had to work 15, 16 hours to afford one ticket. And they took a family of 4 to watch you do a half-ass effort with no explanation.
That's the clip.
It's absolutely fucking insane to me. Because if I have an issue at work, okay, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Okay, 6 months later, we're still having the same issue. Okay, Jake, we're going to have to write you up because you're having this issue and it's constantly affecting your performance. It's affecting your performance to a degree that we're paying you X and you can't give it to us. Why? Let's talk about it. Just because you're written up, that's fine.
Figure it out.
Okay, 9 months later and still an issue? Okay, you need to figure it out, and this is your last warning.
Yes.
Not 13 months and talking to you is exhausting. Could you imagine if you got pulled aside by a supervisor and you said, I don't want to talk to you today, it's exhausting.
I'm exhausted.
Because
I say that I'm hoping Cody's not watching because he does watch every once in a while. I usually say that out loud at least once a day, though.
But does it affect you in a way that you're, putting in a $10 million difference on your salary?
No, and I let you just go there because your rant summed it up to a T. What?
5 seconds ago, John Shannon, with the club playing rosters, Quinn Hughes is in the lineup. Sorry.
So let's hope. We're game 3 of a 5-game road trip. We're 0-2. Can we go 3-0?
I mean,
I got goosebumps. I'm going to say yes.
you got,
The old man, I know you don't let me do the old man predicts anymore because you're a bit of an asshole and you took it away from me. I'm saying it. They're going 3-0.
well, in this week, if you're doing
the rest of this way on this road trip.
if you're doing the rest of the week, there's 4 games until next week.
The Toucan says.
Toucan says shit. He's a fucking inanimate object. But you know what's not an inanimate object? The beautiful people listening to this show right now on Facebook, X, listening to podcasts after the show posts live. We appreciate you coming in, listening, spending your time with us. We're doing an abbreviated show tonight because the puck is about to drop in the next 4 or 5 minutes. If you like what we do here, hit that like button. Let us know by leaving a comment. Hit the subscribe button on all of our platforms. The best thing you can do. What is the best thing they can do, old man?
They can share this freaking thing all over the world.
Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell
an enemy.
Tell your high school bully. If you need to repent for being a bully in your high school days, send it to your victims as penance.
Wow. Oh, because it's Pink Shirt Day today.
Oh yeah,
we didn't wear pink.
Why. I'll leave you that. But until next week, everyone, have yourselves a wonderful week. Mwah. Goodbye, and go Canucks, go. Peace.
You didn't ask if I had anything left to